So I can't live stream tonight because I guess you have to verify your YouTube account for 24 hours before you start streaming to your own channel. It makes no sense. But this is the 5th day of these protests, and I have been told by my friends who have gone to different protests in both Oklahoma and Washington that it's not worth me going because I'm high risk for the coronavirus. What good am I dead? So I can't go, and I want to really bad. So the only thing I feel like I can do is to try to argue and convince and persuade my friends and family, and to get them to see how serious of a problem this is and what's going on. So I'm going to be live streaming as soon as they unlock my account off and on, and I am working on just collecting instances of police brutality all in one document with links to videos and descriptions of videos in case it get taken down, with dates, with the person who took the video, with the time if I can, and the location, just so we don't lose this in our memories. Because what always happens with history is even if you experience an event, as soon as you're past it, it starts fading away. And you start misremembering details. You start leaving things out that you don't think are relevant. And in the future, 10 years in the future, when it becomes relevant again, you can't remember the important details. And you have to play catch up, and a lot of times you can't find that information again. And in this case, the media is not doing a good job at all reporting this stuff. I haven't been able to find good information about this except for on Twitter, and Twitter is obviously millions and millions of people on it. I can't. It's hard to expect anybody in my friends or family to go onto Twitter and to look at everything I'm looking at all day long and to be able to synthesize it into one whole and make sense of it. So that's the only thing I can do while I'm stuck here. And so I'm going to do it. The only thing I can say tonight is, it's night 5 of the protests and riots. And over and over and over again, I keep thinking, this is insane, but then something happens, mostly police brutality, and it becomes more than insane. It becomes making me question how serious this is, to the point where what do we have to be prepared to do? And I don't know. I don't know the answer. But I want to say this tonight for my own sanity and to put this out there to prepare people. This icon of Christ, this is a story of the Good Samaritan. I just want you to notice that every person in the story is Christ. The Samaritan wounded on the road is Christ, and Christ helps him. He's the Good Samaritan. I misspoke. The person wounded on the road is Christ. The Samaritan helping him is Christ. Carrying him is Christ. Healing him is Christ. Taking him in at the inn is Christ. It's all Christ. It's all Christ. Why? And this is what I want to tell especially my Christian friends, my Christian family, the Christians out there that I grew up with, the Christians that are all across the world, and especially in the United States, because those are the people who need to hear it the most, especially American Christians. Christ is present in the poor, in the oppressed, in the afflicted. To love Christ, to love God, is to love the people who are afflicted, poor, underrepresented, powerless. You cannot do anything else. This is how the live stream's going to be. A lot of typing. To love God and to not... And let me be clear. The Christian paradigm, the real historical Christian paradigm, is not about avoiding punishment or getting what you want. It's about you loving God and you loving His creation because it's a beautiful artwork, including you, but everything in creation that exists is beautiful, is intrinsically valuable, is good. And so you have to, every single thing you do, you have to protect, enhance, contribute to the goodness and beauty of the world down to the atom. You have to figure out how to sort yourself out so that you are not just maximizing, but making sure that you're not actively destroying the beauty and goodness of the world. So that's the Christian paradigm. But there is also, to motivate us, this aspect of hell. And you will go to hell. You will be punished for not loving God. And I'm not saying that you're going to go to hell, because I think I'm probably going to go to hell. I don't know how I'm going to avoid hell, because I'm sitting here in this room and I've got every video game console. I've got this stack of Blu-rays and DVDs and video games. I've got like all this camera gear. I've got all these freaking hats. I have multiple guitars. I spend my days in leisure. I hate the greedy and the billionaires of the world, and I am the greedy. I hate the injustice of the world, and I'm contributing to the injustice. I hate the murderers, and the hatred in my heart is murder. I hate the ignorant, but not only am I the ignorant, because even though I have a master's degree in philosophy and know a bunch of shit, it's this much in a world that's way bigger than I can fathom, than I even understand. And the learning that I do have, I've received it from other people. I've received it from God, not myself. I have not put myself in this position. I have not put myself in this position to have this wealth. I'm not responsible for it. So I hate the ignorant. Not only am I the ignorant, but any understanding I do have, I have received. And as Augustine says in Book 7 of the Confessions, he who has received, don't let him pretend like he hasn't received. Don't let him pretend like it's his own doing. That God's hand and mercy upon his life so that he can have bountiful life, that's his. That he's done it. Because not only am I not worthy of it, I just haven't done it. It's just the truth. So I don't know, when I say this, I don't know if I'm going to hell. I have no idea. I'm trying to love God. I'm trying not to worry about where I'm going to go. I'm trying to worry about, how do I love God? But to motivate us, there is this aspect of hell. And I'm going to pull up a verse and read it before I go to bed, just to make everything I do from this point out clear to everybody, where I'm coming from. Matthew 25:31. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him will be gathered all nations, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats, the righteous from the unrighteous. And he'll place the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." Then the righteous will answer him, saying, "Lord, did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" And the king will answer them, Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. Your inaction or your action, how you treat other people, your close friends or relatives, but also how your actions affect people that you have no idea exist or will exist, what you've done to the very least of them, the human offal that you discard, the human who you regard as human piles of garbage, worthless, maybe the old people that you want to let die in COVID, who you think is just an expense, that this is what we need to do to let the economy continue to run. Maybe letting people die from police brutality, because that's just the expense of having a society. What you do to the least of those expendables, you do to Christ himself. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire, prepared not for humans, but for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. Naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they also will answer, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick in prison, and did not minister to you? Then he will answer them, saying, truly I say to you, as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. Why? Why do they go to eternal punishment? Is it because they don't believe in God? Nope, they're Christians. Is it because they don't care about the ideas of God or the ideas of goodness and justice? No. It's because they don't give a shit. It's because they don't stand up and they don't help the least of these human excrement. Because those human excrement are infinitely valuable, equally valuable to you, even if they have a mental disability, even if they're 90 years old and they're going to die anyway. I'm not saying that if you have to choose between a 90-year-old person that's dying tomorrow and a young child, that there's no moral dilemma there. But that 90-year-old person that's going to die tomorrow, they still have infinite value that you cannot put a price on. And not only that, Christ is in them in a very real, mysterious way. And when you mistreat them, and when you neglect them, and when you don't stand up for them, when you don't fight for them, and when you focus on yourself and your family and your friends to the exclusion of other people, when you prioritize your own comfort above them, welcome to hell.